with your First Coast News storm experts.
Well, of course, congrats to them, and whether you can fall in love not only to, but with in the next few days.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're staring at me like, what are you talking about? You have a good forecast.
Because what's on my mind is the tropics, and this guy's talking.
Well, she's talking about this wedding, and
I know.
You know.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
But you're busy over there, right?
Yeah. Well, here's why we're so busy over there in the Weather Center. Here we go. Thanks, Jeff. Jeff's making me look bad over here. Jeff's making me look bad. Oh, man. Okay, anyway, here's what we're talking about. We got a lot to go on with the tropics. Jose, kind of crucial to our forecast in a couple ways. One being, this is why we'll experience some nice weather, believe it or not. This is going to usher in a northerly flow. That'll help keep us dry to finish the weekend. So that's some good news for us here. Just some increased rip currents and swell from Jose. You got friends and family up in the northeast. Have them keep an eye on this forecast as this storm cruises up to the north slowly. Right now it's only moving north about 6 miles an hour. And that, I think, will help this. Here we go. The newly developed tropical storm Maria, I want to call it Marie because there's a Louis Prima song, Oh Marie, but it's Maria. This is moving pretty quickly to the west. We have tropical storm and hurricane watches in place for the Leeward Islands. Reminder, these are the islands that just got slammed by Irma. So Maria likely to cruise past them as well, likely to strengthen into a Category 1. However, there's a lot going on here, and you're going to see a lot on social media and on the Twitter and the Facebook about spaghetti lines and cones. Don't focus on those so much because all of those change so much. Those are just computer outputs. What the computer models do, not technically forecast, what they do is they just take the current conditions of this storm, the variables that are the current conditions of the storm, throw them into an equation, and then they spit out an answer. Now, the weather changes every second, every minute, every hour in the atmosphere, so the current conditions of the storm are always changing. Therefore, the equation is always changing, and the output is always going to change. So when you're dealing with these storms 5, 6, 7 days out, there's so much uncertainty because of how much is already changing. So don't focus in on those computer models, because if you do, every update they go through, you're going to drive yourself crazy, because one thing you're going to notice is when you're out 300 plus hours, the difference is dramatic. So just keep this on your horizon. And there's some things that I want to focus in with this forecast we'll get to in just a second. Here is Lee, Tropical Storm Lee. It's barely hanging on. We'll see this get down to a tropical depression over the next 2 days. A couple days, no threat to the first coast. And I will say Maria, no threat to the first coast as well over the next 5 days. So nothing to worry about. Here's what I'm thinking when we get to Maria. So here's Maria down just below me. Here is Jose just off into the Atlantic. And in the atmosphere, in the upper levels of the atmosphere, there are kind of mountains and valleys. And the atmosphere flows into these valleys a little bit easier than the mountains. So I think the longer Jose hangs around and the slower Jose moves to the north, the more likely Maria will just follow in its path and head up that way to curve that way. But as of now, no immediate threats here to the first coast. Nothing to lose sleep over. Just keep Maria on the horizon because we are still in the peak of hurricane season. That being said, that doesn't mean we can't have some nice weather, and that's what's on tap for us over the next couple days for the Jags forecast. Most certainly, and the rain on the radar now, going to be dry by later this evening.